podcast. My name is Kamari. I'm your moderator today. I'm joined with Lexi, Nathan, and Diana. And today we're going to be talking about language and semantics and pretty much just why it's important to communication. We're going to be defining semantics in language, providing the outcomes and benefits of knowing and having a good understanding of language and semantics, as well as how semantics has changed over time. Just defining semantics. Does anybody want to kind of kick that off for us?
I have an article written by Adrienne Kennedy, published by EBSCO in 2024, where she states that language is a structured system of communication consisting of speech, nonverbal gestures, and writing involving the arrangement of sounds into words and words into sentences according to complex grammatical rules. She also, and then an article called Semantics, published by the University of Sheffield Center of Linguistic Research in November of 2022, states that semantics focuses on the study of meaning as it tries to understand what meaning is as an element of language and how it's constructed by language, as well as interpreted and obscured and negotiated by speakers, which is an important distinction because semantics are a subdiscipline of linguistics, the study of language, in the way that all crystals are rocks, but not all rocks are crystals.
Yeah. So kind of like trying to figure out the meaning of meaning.
Yes.
In that kind of study.
Basically, yeah.
I have a smaller article. According to Richard Nordquist of ThoughtCo on May 12th, 2025, he states that language and semantics has been defined as the study of how languages organize and express meaning. And as I was digging into that, it kind of I wanted to figure out how to express the difference between language and semantics. How all semantics is all language is semantics, but not all semantics is language. Or did I flip that around?
You flipped it.
Backwards.
The other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the example that kind of came in my head was "bless your heart," like that Southern phrase where it's a very backhanded compliment, but the actual words itself are nice sounding.
Yep.
It's a compliment up here, but down south.
Yeah, if it's from farther up north, it's more of a genuine, if you're doing something for someone and they're like, "Oh, bless your heart, thank you." It is genuine. But if you're from the south, if you go to the south and says, "Oh, bless your heart," yeah, it's not good. It's kind of like I don't know if y'all have experienced this, where somebody comes up to you and they're like, "Oh, I love how you just don't care what you look like." It's
you're
that,
so confident.
where it's
you're
so
so
or you're so confident doing that, and you're like,
I could never.
it sounds good, but then you're like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah. So according to Christopher Rager in 2020 of the edition of EBSCO, the term originates from the Greek word. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this wrong, but it's semeno, which means to signify, and it focuses on the relationship between signifying words and phrases and their meanings.
Yeah. So going back to
rather than
so
just
confident and stuff that, where it's it's the meaning you put behind it.
Yeah, it could be taken in different ways.
Yeah.
It's pretty much just the tone you put out there, just the way you express the word isn't really the word itself, how you can have people, females, they call each other the B word as communicate, community friends, that's,
yeah.
I'm not gonna say it, but but then let's say I were to
Paul will say it, I guess.
if I were to come out and say it, you know what I mean, somebody can take it completely different. And I actually have another weird one where it's kind of like a California, mainly an LA thing, but you'll still see it in the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
But the word weirdo, when you
That's
look
true.
when you look at somebody oh you're a weirdo, most people won't take it that serious.
Yeah.
But to be honest, if somebody were to call me a weirdo, I'd actually
we take it more personal for some reason.
I'd be really mad 'cause what do you mean I'm a weirdo?
Yeah.
Really?
My family personally, we love Night at the Museum, that movie Night at the Museum with Ben Stiller, and there's a line where it's you're a weirdie, but very clearly in a silly way. So we'll say that, and then but say weirdo when we're being serious about weirdos.
Yeah, being called that's almost fighting words. I'm
Really?
not gonna lie. Yeah.
So weirdy is more you're
one
weird,
of the
but you're
people who
mine.
doesn't feel that.
Yeah.
Really? I feel it's a California thing, I'm not gonna lie.
I think it is.
Yeah.
It's certain stuff like that. Yeah. Or being called a nerd too. It's it doesn't seem that bad. I know it's kind of a negative
It's very
connotation.
rookie word.
People like to confuse nerd and geek a lot, because nerd is I like to do math and I like to do schoolwork.
Yeah.
Geek is I know a lot of pop culture references, which, considering how widespread that is today, it's not really
So
bad.
or
It's just
sorry.
kind of normal now. Go ahead.
So which one originated from which one? So like, was geek first and then nerd came from that? Or did
I
nerd
think
come
nerd
from
came
geek?
first. Like nerd was definitely an insult first.
So
it
is
was
there,
used
like-
more because geek was like it doesn't roll off the tongue as much as nerd
Yeah,
does.
so like, is this
Um,
like, how did that word get born from nerd?
that I
like-
don't know.
Was there just like some
I
people
think
just
it-
started taking, they would like take nerd as like their title and then they started going from there?
Like they wanted to be seen as smart, but like in a different way. They didn't want
Yeah.
the negative connotations. Yeah.
Yeah, we were
Fine.
talking a little bit about connotations and denotations, about how like connotation is the feeling that a word is like meant to give people, and then denotation is like the definition, like the textbook definition of a word. And I think that has a lot to do with semantics as well.
So, sorry, just to clarify, connotation is like the feeling of a word?
Yeah,
and
so
then,
Like the vibe.
yeah,
the
like
vibe you get from
Because
something?
Yeah.
there's like a lot of words that are very similar, but they are just like the meaning is just like a smidgen off.
but
of
it's
each
like a
other, just the
universal
vibe is different.
like feeling. Like for example, like if I like the word morgue, it's obviously like everyone is gonna feel like, you know, kind of like
Boy.
it's a
Yeah, it's a very
negative
icky
word,
word.
right?
Or
Like if
moist.
I gave you like joyride or something, obviously has the word joy in it, so it's like, you know, like that's a little bit more
Yeah,
fun
or
and like
dangerous
light.
sounding.
Or like the difference between a cottage in the forest sounds really nice, but a
Yeah.
cabin in the woods sounds
Yeah.
Yeah.
not a good time.
Yeah.
But they're like both describing the same thing. It's
Yeah,
a small
Yeah.
structure.
So,
in
yeah,
a
it has
Wooded
to- a
area,
lot to do
yeah,
with
but
that.
they have completely different vibes and
Yeah.
different like implications.
Yeah, there's always also like literal and like implied things. Like, I mean, well, we already like have some examples of that. Like literal, like for example, rules. If for like if a teacher tells you in class like to not like like to raise your hand every time that you talk, then you're gonna raise your hand. And like if you go to the movies and you see a line, it's like kind of implied to stand behind the line rather than
Yeah.
go over it and stuff like that. Yeah.
For a second, I thought you were gonna go off into something about malicious compliance.
Yeah.
And I don't know where I was gonna go from that. That's just my first thought was like to follow the letter if not the spirit.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's where I thought you were going.
That's
with
like,
but
that would be
that's-
like
yours is better.
ignoring, or sorry.
No, go
What you
ahead.
were just saying, kind of like following the letter, but what was the other thing?
The following the letter but not the spirit, meaning like you
Yeah.
follow it like exactly what it says. Like it says, oh,
Yeah.
you said I had to stay in like I don't know why I'm thinking of this, but there was a story about how there was like for some kindergarten there was literally the timeout bucket where you had to stand in the bucket. So you can't leave, but they just scooted the bucket out
Yeah.
and they were in the parking lot before anyone could catch them. Like
Yeah.
she didn't leave the bucket.
Yeah, I go in like the letter instead of the spirit. It's kind of like ignoring the semantics behind the language,
Mm-hmm.
of what is implied. You're like, oh, I'm following
Being
the
deliberately
language.
obtuse.
Yeah, yeah. And I think this kind of just bringing up another example of like how I think, or how I understand semantics, is like saying girl, like being like girl, or be like girl, like stuff like that.
Like an expletive.
Oh
like,
yeah,
Like,
like,
girl.
you
like
can
definitely
turn
like-
any.
yeah,
You can
Dude,
turn
depending on the
anything into an
tone and
expletive.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like something in a book I'm actually reading right now. There's a whole thing between like a beef between witches and mages, but whatever. But a witch is just started using son of a mage, and it got caught on, and everyone, even the mage himself, who's saying it about. Yes, it's actually he actually almost says it, and he has to cut himself off because it's so catchy. Just because words can change over time. Like you wouldn't think of mage as a necessarily bad thing,
Yeah.
but in that context, it absolutely was
Yeah.
because in that story world, whatever, mages are like the very actually people who people just there's that, but they're also the
Nerds or
very
nerds?
entitled. The very entitled, like I am better than all of you because I am what I am.
Yeah.
Fudge off. So, yeah. So it became
Yeah.
mage became from a neutral word into a negative one, which I will get into later. That's different.
Yeah.
That's in a different
And actually,
segment.
on a similar note from that, this actually you just opened up a memory from so long ago. My dad he puts on audiobooks in the car, and I just remember in this one old like alien sci-fi one, they would like use this word. It was like an alien word. I don't remember what the word was exactly, but there was like this old alien word they would use that it came from like a dead language that nobody knew what it actually meant, but they used it as like a swear. And so they would just use it, and it was like this running like bit in the book where it was like nobody actually knew what it meant. Like it could mean like spoon or something, and they're like, we actually don't know what this means, but we like using it as a swear, and so it's kind of that like the semantics behind that.
Oh yeah,
Give
a really
it that
popular
meaning.
one actually for anyone who likes the movie Elf, Son of a Nutcracker. Like, well, that has some more deeper things.
I
in it,
think
if you
also
think
like
about
just
it.
bad words in general. Like there's a lot of them that we can't even define. Like I know in Spanish there's a lot of words that I can't even translate because they're just meant to be bad words, but they don't actually really have a definition.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
so like it's just a context that makes it like gives it that bad word vibe. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and if anyone watches anime, anytime it says like they curse or they just say damn or something, they're literally just making a sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just like clicking their tongue,
Yeah.
like literally just, which is considered very, very rude.
Yeah.
But it's for Japanese, it is the more informal you get, the ruder you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting. They don't have any actual legitimate curse words.
Mhm.
It is all just mostly informal, saying things informally and
Yeah.
making rude sounds, I guess.
Mhm.
Which is what words are. If you say a word enough, it will lose all meaning, which I find to be very funny,
Yeah.
but also terrible. It's like when you're told that you are now aware of your tongue in your mouth, or
Yeah.
aware of your breathing. I hate that so much. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Yeah, well, I mean, kind of just to bounce off of like what you said earlier, kind of about like the tone of everything. Most words, it's not really like what you say, but how you say it.
Yeah.
You know, and I know like it's a little like weird to compare, but like when you talk to a dog, they don't understand English language really. I mean, I know like some words, you know, but they kind of just get the tone of what you're saying, and they can kind of like relate. But you can say very nice things in like an angry or aggressive tone, and then they'll take that as like aggression, you know. But then you come back and you can say the most belittling, aggressive things to a dog in like a good tone, and they get all happy and giddy
Yeah.
because they don't really understand. It's just the way you're saying the words to them. And I feel like we can take that into consideration where semantics is literally that. It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah.
And then again, it's like words don't mean people mean. That's like a quote that a lot of people say.
Yeah.
That's just like one of the things I just thought about as I was doing the research. I'm like, that's literally like what we're talking about, you know? But just to kind of transition a little bit, we can talk about the outcomes and the benefits of semantics and language, just like understanding it. I just feel like a good reason to really understand it or do your research and learn a little bit more is just to be able to communicate like your message across without losing context of what you're really trying to say, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because so there's a book by Bibi Halima and Kelly Yerian, which is it's called Learning How to Learn Languages. It was published in 2024. It says we can fail to communicate even when we do share a language, and succeed at communicating even when we don't share a language, because communication is more than just language. It relies on context, body orientation, the use of space, hand gestures, facial expressions, our relationship and history with who we're talking to, and our cultural experiences as well as others. But this is where like semantics and other subdisciplines of linguistics come in. Like as we were saying, nonverbal communications, and well, we talked about it a lot, like the speaker's intent, implied meanings. That's the actual word for that is pragmatics, which
Pragmatics.
But without being able to discern between the differences in meaning between the words we say, our body language, the emotions in our tones of voices or hands as we sign or say things, more subtle things like sarcasm would be lost. Like we wouldn't be able to pick up on it, or we would even maybe be even mistaken for, you know, showing open hostility when we're not. We're just
Yeah.
using sarcasm or deadpanning because we're tired and we can't
Yeah.
emote our voices properly. But words can mean different things for different people as well. Like what we consider something like bird slang, for us is just normal. For them, like, how could you?
Yeah.
Like even with swear words, because like I'm not going to say it, but there's a particular swear word in the UK that's considered a lot less rude than it is here. Like here it's considered very, very like, how could you? But over there they're like, they use it all the time, like all the time.
Yeah. I'm
Just-
trying to figure out which
What
one.
is-
I was
No,
like
me
trying
too,
to
I was
figure
like,
out what
what's
you're trying to
the
reference.
C?
Oh,
Okay, just start
so
with
we
the C.
the C
Okay.
word, the
I
big
believe
C.
that, I believe on
Like you're serving?
TikTok and other social media they use grunt as a
Oh, I was gonna say like you're serving.
Hey, no, that's crazy. I'm like,
yeah, because they apparently over there it's a lot less Like.
Yeah, I know they use that a
They
lot.
use it very frequently. Yeah.
Huh?
But yeah. But yeah, kind of just to bounce off of like, I guess like context, right?
Stay bouncing.
Stay bouncing. Like I don't know. I've been using like a lot of quotes, I guess, but the phrase "a picture means 1,000 words," right? And then
I've never heard that one.
Yeah,
Really?
it's like a picture paints 1,000 words or something like that.
yeah.
Oh,
Or
so
like-
you said it wrong.
No,
I mean,
no,
I
no. There's a
guess.
bunch
No,
of
no.
different ways to say it.
There's ways to say it for sure. I mean, like, but just to take it
the
that way,
semantics means the same thing.
it's like.
Because context.
So this was actually a quote that I took from somebody. It was man, what's her name? Bethany. I might pronounce
Bethany?
No, it's like
Bethany?
Bethania Palma. I'm
Wow, fun
very
name.
much probably butchered her name.
I guess it
But
goes
yeah,
with
so a picture paints 1,000 words, but when because when you take something out of context, it'll take 1,000,000 words to like fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like just jumping into that, it's like there's like a rampant issue of like out of context or just a lot of misinformation being spread online. Like you can take a clip of somebody saying pretty much anything and giving it a different caption and cutting it short without any context, and they'll take it a completely different way. And there's like dedicated pages to that. Like that's all they do is spread
Like
misinformation.
clickbait and stuff like
Clickbait,
that.
Rage bait and
Yeah.
all of that just to get more views so they can
It was
monetize.
like, oh my
it.
god, this just happened, and then you watch it and you're like, oh bro.
Yeah, this did not happen. Where did it
Bro,
happen?
when did this happen?
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And like for me, words are sometimes it's hard for me to get social cues and understand exactly what you're talking about because you're relying heavily on implications.
Mhm.
But I'm like taking it too literally. I'm like, hey, but what do you mean? Do you mean this? Do you mean that? And it seems
Yeah.
almost as if I'm questioning or being belligerent. I'm like, no, I just want to understand.
Yeah.
I think I got in trouble the most as a kid just because I kept asking why.
I think
Yes.
another like form of language that we haven't really touched on is like symbols, which can also be like
Like emojis?
misinterpreted. Like for example, I was talking about this in my anthropology class where I guess like the sex symbols for the restrooms, like female and
like the
and male.
cross
Yeah, those
and
are
arrow.
all. It's like a universal like. Like it's a language, those symbols. And then also like another example, like is like the rainbow flag. So in like religious cultures, they think of it as like a symbol from God that God like came from the third day or whatever, was risen, and then
Oh,
like
yeah.
he like gave us a rainbow
And
like as like a
yeah.
gift. And then
And also like
Yeah.
like Noah's Ark.
yeah, and then in
The
the
virus, the
LGBTQ
rainbow.
community, it's also used as like a symbol for them. Like it's just even symbols can be misinterpreted or like interpreted
multiple
differently.
Yeah, multiple
You know what I
meanings.
mean?
Multiple meanings.
I know
Yeah.
like a very extreme one is the swastika, because I know that I don't know the exact context of the other, like the not as bad.
The original one,
The
it was
original.
a Tibetan symbol of like peace.
Yeah,
And like good luck.
And
that's
good
what I'm
luck,
saying.
yeah.
So like,
Which is like two complete
Yeah, it's like
different
polar
things.
opposites.
They
Yeah,
also
like
flipped it, like they made it a mirror image of what it actually is. So like it goes the other way, like how
Really?
it goes up and goes around.
Yeah, I
it
did
goes
not
the
know that.
other way.
Huh.
You know, the
I did not know
the-
that.
At least I'm pretty sure. Always double check. Always double check.
yeah, and that's kind of like another thing, like I was trying to touch on is like just taking information in, especially like since we're college students, we do a lot of research. Just kind of going past like surface level to really understand what you're learning or what information you're taking in, or just questioning things, like besides just taking like at surface level, because you'll see it with the news, you'll see it with things that people post online, or just
Yeah.
any type of information. It can be wrong, and people can lie and spread whatever they want to, because that's kind of just how media and the internet works.
Because they use like semantics and meaning behind certain facts to kind of affect the pathos of it to change how you feel about that piece of information, even though they're not changing anything about the information, but it changes how you feel about that piece of information.
Like,
Yeah.
Instead of taking something that could be absolutely neutral and making it sound bad.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Like, even just, the first thing that's coming to mind is the thing with Marie Antoinette with the whole let them eat cake. She never actually said that. She never said that. That was just a propaganda because they were deliberately trying to make her, because she was just a
I did not know
girl.
that.
You know, she was a country girl. She had no real interaction with the like people overall. She went from living a country life straight to the palace, and she was just isolated because they weren't allowed to go out and do whatever they wanted. You'd think that, like, oh, being royalty, you get to do whatever you want. No. Strict
Yeah.
schedules, you have to stay with certain places, and if they tell you, no, you can't do that, you can't do that. You're just kind of stuck. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, France is notorious for having so many revolutions, many of them not successful. But in that particular one, everyone was just mad because they were having a really bad time. But
It was like poverty was at like an all-time high.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
I was just gonna say, like, propaganda is one of the things that that uses semantics, because you could say, like, oh my god, did you hear about this thing, and it makes it sound as if it's bad because just from the tone alone, so you are
Yeah.
going into that with
Piques
a
your
negative.
interest.
But if someone just said, oh hey, this thing happened, it's more of a neutral tone, so you can take from it what you will. You relate, like, cause quoting a musical of all things, a shared negative opinion is the fastest social bond. You want somebody to like you, hate what they hate.
Kind of like if you have a bad teacher, like you and you and your friend are in that class together, and your teacher is absolutely like horrible, doesn't know what they're doing, stuff like that, and then you become like lifelong friends with that person.
Right, and even if that person is like, you don't have any similar interests or anything, but you have that bond,
Yeah.
and just that one experience, can be kind of crazy.
Yeah.
This makes me think of like when you're doing research and the like your professors will tell you like just to watch out for like biased opinions, because
Yeah.
for example, if I were to hate like abortion because of a personal experience, and then I write an article about how I hate abortion and why it's bad, everything is because I hate abortion, you know what I mean? Like everything I'm writing about, like although some like facts might be correct, it'll be like I'm kind of like my whole like point of the article would be to like convince you that like to be on my side. So if you were to use that for something else, you know, it'd just be like kind of adding on top of
Because
that.
you're just you're trying to portray your stance on
Yeah.
the subject
Yeah.
matter.
Because as I said before with the learning languages book, where communication is more than just language, like it relies on your relationship with that person.
Yeah.
So if you trust that person, you're gonna just probably take their word for it. You're not necessarily going to actually do your own research, because you're like, oh, I trust you, so I'm just gonna take your word for it.
I just thought of a crazy on what you're saying. Like you trust your person, like when you're like a little kid, and you have like your pet, and then the pet dies, but your parents don't want to tell you because you're little, and they're like, oh, they went to the farm.
Oh no, I thought of another one. So this this person was caught, like as a kid, eating like sugar straight from the container.
Yeah.
And their mom's like, we want to taste something even sweeter, and she takes it and brings her over vanilla extract. And he's like, nah, smell first, then decide. So of course it smells amazing because it's vanilla extract, except it is bitter.
It's-
Yeah,
It is
no, I've
so
tried
nice.
it before. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, like I've raw
And,
dogged
she's like,
it.
and she ends the post like, and that's why I have trust issues.
Yeah.
It's like, because wow.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of, the outcomes and benefits, kind of bringing it back to our, the title there is like, if you know how to use semantics to affect others' emotions to your words, I feel like you can get so far in career and in school and in just, friendships and relationships, because you can use it to become a more likable person. Like more people can.
Everything from politics to comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so like
Half of
it's
comedy is just
very
finding
powerful
words
tool.
and arranging words in ways that are funny, and politics is arranging words into orders that people find compelling.
Mhm.
I just think the biggest benefit really is to enhance your communication skills in general, being
Yeah.
able to portray and making sure people don't take what you're saying a different way,
Yeah.
Kind of just to like swap over, we can kind of talk about kind of like the history of semantics and how it's changed over time. This is probably gonna be the fun part. We get to talk about all our funny words that's changed over time. Who wants to?
Oh, it's good
do
because
this
we have
first?
all different ages, like young and old right here.
Because I'm just.
Not you, Lexi.
Oh no,
Yeah.
how old are you again?
Yeah, I guess I'm just like 50.
You know,
you know?
Lexi's like
no,
28,
because
right?
I'm 28.
I'm 22.
Wait, Lexi's
and
28.
She's like 60.
I was like, yeah, you're like,
Anyways,
Child.
actually, yeah, you are younger than me. I always forget that.
Yeah, man.
In an article that I have, like Why Semantics Studied, published by the University of Sheffield Center of Linguistic Research in November 2024, as semantics is a long-standing topic of discussion, there have been constant change of the meanings and interpretations we're told over time. There are various circumstances for how a lexical item can change in meaning. I wanted to say lexical because I'm Lexi. But some examples are like amelioration, which is a big fancy word for when a word with a negative sense develops a positive one. There's a particular word, the word nice, which in Latin I think it was like nacius, means not knowing. It originally meant like ignorant or foolish or silly in the 13th century, but by the 18th century it changed to mean precise or fastidious, and eventually evolved into the modern pleasant and agreeable.
Yeah.
I kind of have one like similar to that.
Yeah.
The word knight, right?
Yeah.
It was just used as like a general term for like a servant of obviously like nobility,
With a K.
right? Yeah, and then they swapped. Yeah, the knight with a K.
Okay.
Yeah. So not like the nice guy, but like knight in shining armor. That's like our current portrayal of the word, but back then it was just a servant.
Just like a dude. who
Anybody.
helps you.
But now it's like we look at it as like this noble warrior that
Yeah.
can slay a dragon or whatever. I
Do
feel
you-
like that's pretty funny.
Do you guys have anything
Yes, there's like, okay, well, this one is just because like technology has advanced now. Like, back then, a mouse was literally like, you didn't have anything else. It was just the mouse, the animal. But now, since technology has advanced, we actually have like the mouse for your computer or laptop or whatever. So there's two different meanings for that.
That would be semantics broadening, where a lexical item
Yes.
expands in meaning.
Yeah.
And then there's pejoration, I think that's how you pronounce it, when a word with a positive sense develops into a negative one, like gay. Used to mean happy, and now it has a wealth of other meanings,
Yeah.
both positive and negative.
Mhm.
I kind of wanted to have that kind of like in the in-between, it's
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
positive to negative, because we've kind of worked our way back to amelioration. We kind of reclaimed that and made it into something positive again for the most part.
Yeah, that word's been.
I have one that's kind of like neutral, turning bad. So like the word villain was just a word for like a farm worker, like somebody that's worked on a farm.
What?
Yeah.
So they would. I mean,
Yeah, I've
and
never
that's
heard that.
That's at least like what I got from like the research I did. It's like a book, some type of like study, but essentially it was farm worker at first. Now it's like a
Although that
criminal-
makes sense, like, cause like villager,
Yeah.
it's
villain.
it has the same. Like, it has,
That's what I was thinking of. I was
it's
like putting it together in my
there's
head.
a little bit of a correlation there, at least with the like how the words sound. I'm gonna definitely do a little bit more research just to make sure that's true.
I got
did a little
one
surface
that it's
level,
like
but-
meat, I guess, used to mean like any kind of meat. Like it wasn't specific, but
Just a
like
Did you say
word.
meat?
I'm sorry, any kind of food. It was like if I bring you out a bowl cereal, like that's meat. Like you want to eat meat or something like that.
I think
But-
that's where it becomes less general.
Yeah.
That's semantic narrowing.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
and
it's
now
more
it's like
specific.
specifically like animal flesh.
Yeah, like another one that's like one that used to be like, or this is kind of like the opposite, where it used to be very specific. The word holiday
Yeah, I saw
kind of
that.
comes from holy day, right? It was just one day. But now that, we have so many special days throughout the year, they just generalize everything as a holiday.
Yeah.
like a tradition. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't like imagine anyone saying holy day. Like, oh, it's a holy
Yeah.
day.
Oh, dude, like originally the word today, like today, as in like the day that is
Yeah.
currently the day of, because it was I when I first started doing research on that, I thought it meant like to the day, but no, it wasn't like it's not like to this day. It was literally just what was
The word
it?
to word day.
No, there was something in the middle of it, like to something day,
hyphen?
but like basically equivalent of to this day,
Mm.
but not like
Wow.
of not like from the past to now. It was more like on this day. It was just
Yeah.
it was shortened to today.
There's something.
And there was actually a hyphen in like in the early 100 years ago, because I was doing research for a different class, but it literally was spelled 2-day, and then we just kind of got rid of that because we were like, no, that's boring.
Yeah.
We don't like that, so just today.
Just kind of shortening down or
Yeah.
whatever. There's actually a very similar thing in ASL with certain words like husband and wife, son and daughter, tomorrow, yesterday. There are longer, older versions of the sign, but they have started introducing newer signs that are just shorter. So like, for example, like yesterday, you would say past day, but now it would be just yesterday. It's just a lot smaller.
Yeah, I learned the past day one.
And then for like son and daughter, you would be like, for like son, you'd be boy, baby. But now it's just son.
That's the one I learned, yeah.
It's a lot smoother.
It's all in one. And some people do still sign it as the older signs, which is quite interesting. Like, and it's more
It's like an
on,
accent.
yeah, it's more on the East Coast. More on the East Coast because that's kind of where ASL originated. And so there's a lot more, there's a lot older signing cultures there, if that makes sense.
And I know there's different, like, it's not just ASL, there's also, like, there's other forms of ASL as well. There's ones that use more globally.
Yeah.
I just remember there's an anime called A Sign of Affection, which is really cute. Highly recommend. It's so cute. I just remember, the only sign I really remember, though, well, there was two. One was for cute. I think she said this was for cute. It was
Yeah,
really
but
cute.
also when he was like, I watched it as well. So like when he put his hand on her head, that also meant like he was calling her cute, and he didn't know that at first, right? But
Yeah.
then she told him, and he kept doing it. You know, it's like a little cute thing that.
Oh,
they
that's
They-
so
yeah,
cute.
but of course
Yeah.
they ended up together, of course. I also liked it, like, for to eat. It was just.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
Okay,
it's
yeah,
like-
that makes sense.
But it's like
there's
the
too many
chopsticks.
chopsticks in
Yeah.
the bowl, yeah.
I love that so much. I love how, like, intuitive.
Or like in ASL, eat is just like this, which is
Yeah.
literally like you're picking up food and putting it in your, like it's a
It's
lot
one
of
of the
it
best
is,
signs to teach a baby too, because they can't talk yet, but they need a way to communicate. So
Yeah.
they can't necessarily do this, but they can totally do that, or say
Yeah.
please when they want something.
Yeah.
They can. It's great. It's
There's,
great.
There's actually an article on that from headstart.gov. It was written in December 12th, 2025. And they say using ASL signs with nonverbal infants and toddlers allows them to communicate their needs before frustration sets in. For preschoolers, incorporating signs and the ASL alphabet into learning environments has been shown to increase vocabulary and literary skills.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it's like, I mean, I learned sign like when I was really, really young, before I could speak. I was one of
Yeah.
those babies who learned it before they could speak. And I mean, I don't remember, obviously I was a child, but my parents were like, yeah, we were so glad we did that with you. You were like like you could tell us what you wanted and we didn't have to guess. Like it was so easy to understand what you wanted because you would just sign it to us. Unfortunately, I did forget it when I started public school because I
you didn't use it.
I didn't use it.
It's use it or lose
Yeah.
it.
I was a hearing kid, like I didn't need it.
Did
Bro.
they have like they probably had you one for like eating and whatnot, but was there one for
Eating,
pain? Like
for
you were
pain?
like
Pain.
hurt. Oh,
Yeah,
which
my-
a kid could do. They just literally
Yeah.
just anything.
My parents
Or hurt.
taught me and my brother
Help.
both sign language like when we were little before we could learn to speak, and even after we learned to speak, like 1 to 2 years old, we would, or like 1 to 3, I think, we would still use it like while we were talking, and we do it like to our to the kids in our family now, and you can so tell, like, instead of getting like frustrated or like angry like really easily about things, they like quickly use their like their sign, and it's so
Yeah.
cute, but it's also very
Yeah.
helpful for like it relieves more stress on the parents for
'Cause
sure.
I think it's like an easier way to communicate because like when you're trying to learn how to talk, it's obviously a difficult thing for you.
Yeah.
Like the first thing you learn how to do as a baby is like how to grab things. Like you use your hands, so it would be more readily accessible because they know how to use
Yeah.
And
appendages.
it would also help them with their fine motor skills.
Oh yeah.
But then there's
And-
also like the now this is like not off topic, but like when they taught the what was it, a orangutan how to use sign language or like a
Yeah.
gorilla?
Yeah,
And like
both.
yeah, I mean I'm pretty sure they did it with most like any
Yeah.
thumbs,
Yeah.
but I just found that fascinating that even though they can't learn like to speak really because they don't have like the right vocal cords for it, they can still use sign language to communicate with us just because it's an easier way to communicate.
Oh, I've seen videos of people who have like those buttons you press them and it says
For the dogs?
Oh,
yeah,
for the dogs.
also
Yes.
cats.
Man.
Cats will absolutely they will do. Yes, they're hilarious because they will.
It gets
There's
kinda
one where
creepy
they use
after
like
a
a
while.
clicker
Yeah.
to like to teach the like hey, like this is what I need you to do this when I do the clicker. But all they learned was that the clicker equals treat. So they went over and they purposely clicked the clicker on purpose trying to get a treat.
Bro, just fat, just big.
Yeah.
I can have a s-
I really wish that I had been taught ASL as a kid because I forget words often and I lose my
Yeah.
words and they stuck also.
I think, and also learning at such a young age, it kind of, I think young kids, they start to understand how semantics work, even if they don't, like, obviously know the word semantics, but they're understanding how to use it. And there's actually, kind of going to the euphemisms there, I wanted to share earlier. There's two that deaf people use. So there's the sign for stupid and there's the sign for dumb, right? Those ones typically English or hearing people use a lot because they're like, oh, easy sign to look up. But then there's ones that don't have a direct translation into English. Like, for example, its direct translation is be mine stupid. And basically, it's like, oh, that person doesn't know anything about what they're talking about. Like, it's the same as saying that, or like direct translation is zero forehead. But it means like, oh, I
Zero
have
brow.
no idea what's going on. I don't know what's happening. Like, because there's like saying like, oh, I don't know what's going on. But then if you do like, that's like a much more exaggerated version. The semantics behind it is like,
You lost me,
yeah,
basically.
yeah. It's like,
But like really exaggerated.
yeah.
For specific context. Like you wouldn't
Mhm.
necessarily use that with, you know.
Yeah, typically, like, a lot of deaf people, when it comes to, like, when they sign that, and it's like someone who is hearing, like an interpreter, they don't know what that means because they're like that's not an English sign, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is actually watching videos where they have especially comedians, when they have an interpreter and they just have like, okay, well, what is the sign for this? And they're like, oh my God, no way, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
Like for a particular German man who did things that he shouldn't have in terms of the World Wars. It's terrible, it's great.
Yeah, I know what song you're talking about.
Yo.
But yeah, I go. Just one quick story, kind of like right before we like wrap up a little bit, just to kind of go back to teaching animals language. I think it was an orangutan, or no, it was a gorilla. So they taught them sign language, and they realized that they were a gorilla and not a person, because they were like telling them like, hey, like, you know, explain to them what death is, you know, and they actually got depressed because they were like, I'm a monkey, I'm gonna die one day, and like they just like went into a spiral, and it was a depressed like primate. It was like crazy, you know, because like they didn't know how to process it, and I just feel
Yeah.
like most animals don't go through that because they don't understand language.
Yeah.
But then once you taught it that, it kind of like elevated them to a different level. I know it kind of has nothing to do with this,
No, you're good.
but I just kind of like remembered that.
But
Honestly.
to leave us on a slightly higher note, similar story, except they I think it was Coco, the gorilla. She
Yeah.
had a kitten. She really, really wanted a kitten, so they gave her a kitten. And she broke something in her enclosure. I don't remember what it was. But they're like, hey, what happened? And she pointed at the kitten and said the kitten did it.
But I guess before we wrap it up, does anybody have any like last thoughts or any funny things you want to say?
No, I got
No.
up my funny stuff.
I
Not
think
really?
the only thing I missed from my that I was gonna say was just that the meanings of words change all the time as they mirror us as society changes and the language fills those gaps. But I think we already covered that with funny stories. So
Okay.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Kamari. Again, I was joined with Lexi, Diana, and Nathan. We were just talking about language and semantics today, and we'll see you guys soon.
If you are interested in a career in sports broadcasting, whether you're commentating a live game,
or hosting your own TV show,
For more information, contact Greg Poff. That's me at solano.edu.
We hope to see you here next semester. And remember,
It's more than just sports, it's an education.